Hey there, if I say the word collaboration, does your heart stop a minute? Because mine does. I am so excited to be talking to you today about this idea of feminine collaboration. And if it makes you a little nervous, or maybe you've had a bad experience, hang tight and let's chat. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Hi, my name is Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. And what I do is work with really successful businesswomen who've reached midlife and went, is this it? And isn't there more to life than this? Because maybe they got caught in the trappings of the layers of things that show up. Perhaps they've been raising a family and or so enveloped in their business, and they're kind of climbing that corporate ladder that they just got lost in the shuffle. And now here in midlife, they're like, I feel like there might be something better for me, right? They start having this niggling notion that they used to be excited to get up every day to go do their thing, and now it just feels like a drag. And so if that's you, that was me at 40, and that's why I'm here, and it's why I love working with women. We're going to talk a little bit about this idea of collaboration today. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, I have a background in clinical social work, and I did a very traditional psychotherapy practice for over 20 years. And then I moved in the field of coaching because I really wanted to design something that utilized both that foundation in psychology, but also combine it with my very favorite healing modalities to provide a really powerful punch for what I like to refer to as the midlife revolutionary method. Oh, you're welcome. God, that sounds so good, doesn't it? Ringy-dingy. It's such a good sound. Okay, maybe that I'm really excited I finally landed on a name for it. But anyway, I want to talk about this idea of collaboration today. So, one of the things that I know has been an experience of mine. And if you've ever had kind of this disconcerted idea about being in collaboration with women, sisterhood, if you will, drop a comment down below and say me. Have I ever had this this kind of like hesitation, that little twang, if you will, that you're like, I don't know if I want to throw my hat in the ring with another woman. I don't know how I feel about this sisterhood idea, right? Again, it sounds great in theory, but is it really something for me? If that resonates, put a me in the comments. So what we want to talk about are 5 pieces that I think get in our way. Okay, so today we're going to identify 5 pieces. The next video, what do we do about it? That one's really fun. So come back and hang tight for that one because it's going to be so good. What goes wrong for us though? What prevents us, right? I jokingly talked to the fact that it took me a while to like women, and I unfortunately wasn't joking. I've had my fair share of not so great experiences in female friendships, and things like that. And then certainly business adventures and things like that, where you just kind of come into spaces that leave you feeling a little bit less like wanting, like, oh man, that wasn't good. That didn't go well. I didn't see that coming. And so for me, it took me some time and my own healing work, truly deeply, my own energy healing work, to where I could understand that feminine energy is something beautiful. And this is my own work talking, right? So right now, understand, I've been through my own process of coming to love and really respect the feminine component of what we get gifted with as women, but also certainly respecting femininity in men, because I think we all have both parts, both masculine and feminine. But what we want to talk about is what gets in our way as women. Again, I'm going to refer to myself and all my clients that I work with. This is not an uncommon response. And so that's why we're going to talk about it. So 1, what gets in our way? Conditioning. You're going to hear me say this and you'll be like, oh my God. Okay. Like, I get it. I know this just sounds like a broken record, but the truth is that your conditioning and what you've been taught in our culture is huge. One of my very favorite songs, you can go look it up. Oh my gosh. It's Round Hole. And I'm forgetting the name of the artist right now, so forgive me. But if you look up Round Hole, and you listen to it for 5 minutes, and you'll be like, oh, there it is. She talks about, my mama said that I should like marry me a rich man, maybe have a couple kids while I still can. This song is so fiery for me. It's so juicy, and it like lets me sink my teeth into something that those are the messages that we are told. Some of us, right? We were maybe raised in homes or with, guardians, family members, friends, all those things that we kind of come into connection with, even teachers that have messages about what we're supposed to do as women. And that, listen, I'm going to tell you very clearly, this is not calling anybody out to be a jerk. There is no part of me that's like, you know what? I'm going to pick on you and you and you. And I'm not asking you to. But what I am suggesting is that you look back in your life and say, where was I given certain messages about femininity and about being a woman? And is that the thing that actually fits me, right? It's time to, in midlife, re-examine what it means to you to be a woman and stop looking at what everybody else feeds you, the bullshit that they say about what it means to be a woman. You know, some women ought to be stay-at-home moms, and that is brilliant. If that is what you are called to do, hell yes. Some women are called to careers and they don't want children. High five to them. Like, there's no wrong solution in being a woman, but what we are told is that there's such a dichotomy, right? There's such a dichotomy for us. It feels like we kind of can't ever win. I don't know about you as a woman, but I feel like there were so many times in my life I felt like I was killing it in maybe one area or maybe two, but there were three that were like, it's like, I just can't get it all together in one fell swoop. It's so infuriating and it makes you feel so overwhelmed sometimes. And what can happen is this like despondent experience, like, man, this just sucks. What am I here for? Why is this happening, right? And so have you experienced this, right? That sense of like, I just can't get it's like having like 6 things on burners on a stove and you're trying to move the lid so that they don't all boil over. That was what I felt like. That's my visual. And so we know that we are taught so many things about what women are, what they're meant to do, where their places are. This is my favorite. Let's one more time. Okay. So many places and lots of well-intended people, sometimes not, but lots of well-intended people giving us messages about what we're supposed to do and be. Okay, let's keep going. 2, this is a biggie. I could talk about it all day long. I'm going to try to keep myself tucked in. Competition. Sweet Jesus. Back in the day when I left my private practice, I took 2 women with me. Oopsie, sorry. Not sorry. But here's what fascinated me was some of the tension about, well, you can't take your clients. Yeah, I'm going to offer them the opportunity. I'm also going to do the ethical thing and give them other options, one of which would be to stay where we were in community mental health. And I thought, are we really missing words? Like there's not enough clients in the world struggling with mental health issues that everybody can't have a piece of the pie? Come on, really? And so that was initially the first spot where I really in my career felt like I saw this and I thought, this is wonky. Like what? There is plenty of work to be done. Even in my field of purpose, and there's so many of us that are out there that are coaches that are doing something that has a definite thread of similarity. A friend of mine did a business training with me, and she was all about purpose-driven life, and she was a very faith-based woman. She was very soft-spoken and so sweet and kind. And I remember watching her have a conversation once where she was like, well, I'm just not that I'm not that high energy. I'm not that, and I'm like, no. And thank God. I mean, I have enough energy for 14 people. But what I'm saying is she had a moment of comparison. She was like, but if somebody else can get online and do this with all of this vibrancy and whatever, right? And kind of loud and in your face, that wasn't who she was. Her clients need her to be that way, right? And she was certainly not competing with me in any stretch of the imagination. What I'm saying though is that comparison. I look at myself in comparison to somebody else, and what can happen is we can slide into that space of competition. This woman knew her worth, but I think she was just afraid, like, okay, if I'm not, quite as out there, if I'm not as comfortable doing those kinds of things, what does that mean? It means that you're a freaking awesome coach and that you're going to do it in your way. Praise Jesus, right? We need her too. That is her secret sauce, is that faith-based piece, that sweetness, that introverted nature she carried. She's going to appeal to a whole separate population of people than I am. She also doesn't specialize in necessarily midlife and businesswomen. There is space for everyone at the table, right? And I think we have such a competitive spirit in our culture, and we've been taught to kind of go toe-to-toe with people. I don't think that we see that there's room for everyone. And even as kids, remember, oh my God, do you remember the dreaded, okay, I'm going to activate somebody when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do you remember the gym line when it was gym day and you had to go pick on, there was a whole group of people and there was 2 captains and they're going to pick who's on their team. You know where I'm going, right? And everyone's getting picked, you're still standing there like, trying to not make eye contact with anybody because why am I the reject that's still sitting here, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, what the what? So we are in a state of feeling like we're comparing ourselves to other people and maybe we don't meet snuff. We don't hit the bar. We don't whatever. We all remember experiences like this as kids. We do. We're literally filled with moments where somebody got an A and I got a B, or right. And it didn't have to just to be women. It could just be any circumstance, but there's so much competition. Climbing a ladder, right? I have to be bigger, better, louder, whatever than the next person. Oh my God, what a bunch of bullshit. There is plenty of room at the table. Plenty of room at the table. We're going to say it one more time. Plenty of room at the table. Okay. Also, we have a scarcity mindset. Okay. In our culture, lots of times we can be really like covered up by this idea that there is not enough, right? It goes exactly back to the notion I just talked about. And as soon as we start thinking there isn't enough for everybody, we lock horns. Well then cool, I'm going to take my piece of the pie, bitch, back off. Right? Oh my God, are you kidding? Right? Again, everything is mindset. Everything is mindset. So I'm going to invite you to imagine that you can have a different experience, right? This is where I want you to start leaning in. Fear and anxiety. You know, I'm going to tie it in together to the last one. It's too vulnerable. I'm going to link those together. Okay. So why? Because what I want you to think about is many of us have had bad experiences. We've had tough moments where we've been hurt by other women. Maybe we've done, groups, or we've been part of a community and we feel like we got outed, or we were mistreated. I know middle school was like hell on wheels for me. I don't know about you. Oh, it's like Dante's Inferno. All I'm going to say is you couldn't pay me to go back. Not for $1 million gazillion. That's not a number, but you're welcome. Do that math. So fear and anxiety, like we're vulnerable. It's scary as hell to be vulnerable. And I want to call that out. And so I think that a lot of times this is another piece that really prevents us. Like, how the hell do I lean in, Jen? Because I'm just so nervous that someone is going to really freaking hurt me. I agree. Been there, same fears, have experienced the same damn thing. And every time I go in to do a collaboration with someone, I'm watching and witnessing where I'm sitting with things. And I'm going to talk more about that in the second video because I don't want to leave everything out here because it's so much. But I just wanted us to start biting off what prevents us from feeling like collaboration and working together in sisterhood is so inaccessible. It literally scares me. We're in a world where even my daughter, I watch my daughter and her friends, she's becoming an adult. She's like in young adulthood. Her friends are trying to get jobs. They're going off into the work field. And I'm like, oh my God, ladies, hang tight. I just want to like support all of them because I remember this journey and I remember the feels that came with it. And in the beginning, because you clawed and worked your way so hard to get to where you are, it's like, but this is mine. It feels like we have to protect it and save it, right? And I don't want them to continue to have to live in a world where they feel that way. Can we stop seeing each other as competition? And can we start seeing each other through a lens of collaboration? I just think there is so much more to be gleaned. And my experience is when I find the right women to be with. And what I mean by that is right for me, my frequency, my vibe, and what I'm doing and where I want to go is different than the next woman, right? So it isn't that every single woman necessarily is going to be your exact right fit. But I do think that you'd be surprised by the ways that you can connect with women and how powerfully we can hold space for each other. And what that changes is your mindset and the way that you show up energetically. And pretty soon, I think things start flowing in better because we release that idea of fear and anxiety and vulnerability, and we open ourselves up to having a different kind of experience, a connection, a deep, deep connection. So hang tight, come back with me next time because I'm gonna roll this out again. We'll always circle back. But for today, I want to invite you, if you're interested, if this is like, hey, Jen, you know what, this is really helping like fill my fire. Like I'm a midlife woman. I could use some more tips and tools. I really invite you to head over to my website, which is laughinglotuswellness.com. Again, that's laughinglotuswellness.com. I know, so long. And check out my beautiful spot where I have all sorts of free content to start kind of digesting and getting to know me a little bit better. Connect with me via email. I would love to hear from you. What are you doing? Where are you? How's your journey in collaboration and that feminine energy going? I'd love to hear from you. So take any of those opportunities. But I just want to sign off and say thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait till next time. Sending you blessings, love, and light, and inviting you to imagine having a midlife revolution and being a revolutionary instead of having a midlife crisis, right? There's so much more to life. And I want to invite you to step right into that space and leave that purpose and legacy on the table, right? We're going to leave every single thing out there. So until next time, friends, this is Jen signing off, and we will see you for more midlife content next time.